Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fan Experience TV. Man, I miss that music. I mean, the week was good, just recharge, but
Yeah.
nothing get you going like that lead-in music. But it was a heck of a week in sports that we took off for, and obviously a lot to talk about. For those of you tuning in for the first time, my name is Mike Kados, and alongside me is my co-host, Rick Molina. Rick, I mean, it was a great week, but let's talk about how you feeling about all the news in the sports world.
Well, it's a lot, man. I mean, it was a lot to digest what's gone on in the last few days in the world of sports. I mean, just breaking. I mean, where would you want to begin? I mean, we had a trade for Julio Jones going down to Tennessee. Tibbs, Tom Thibodeau, coach of the Knicks, wins Coach of the Year. Kawhi Leonard leads the Clippers back against the Mavericks to win a Game 7 in LA. The Lakers get knocked out. The Islanders, I'm not sure what the series is at, but they're on a roll.
Yeah,
as well.
they were up 2-1 in the series, and they're playing right now, or did the game end already?
Not sure. But you had the Yankees. They're in a complete.
They're up 5-4 right now.
5-4,
No, the
okay.
series is tied 2-2. And they're up 5-4 with 5:17 left in the third.
There you go. And you have the Yankees in a complete meltdown. They can't get a win. They get getting struck out. And then you got the greatest pitcher of our era, Jacob DeGrom. I think his ERA is under 1 or something like that.
0.62.
I mean, this is Pedro Martinez, Sandy Koufax, early
Bob
Roger
Gibson,
Clemens, Bob Gibson. Yeah. I mean, this is just unbelievable stuff. I mean, you've never seen anything like it. I guess we can start there. I mean, do you ever think in your life you see a pitcher like him that goes out there and says, you know what, I'm going to throw 12 straight fastballs, and that's it. And maybe I'll throw a curveball in the fourth. It's
at over 100.
Yeah, and that's the velocity.
And then he pulls the string and hits 93 like as his slow pitch. I mean,
it's incredible.
93 is his slow. It was just he's a master at his craft right now. I mean, there's nobody that's doing better than him right now. Pitching wise, obviously you got Ohtani over there with 16 home runs, like a freaking nature.
That's MVP right there.
But I mean, 0.62 ERA after 9 starts. I mean, the next closest is what, like 1.23. So
right, yeah.
He's got half of the second place, and of course, this is not sustainable for the whole year. But it was crazy. It was crazy that what was it? June 6, 2017. He gave up 8 runs to the Texas Rangers.
Yeah,
and he was just upset. Terry Collins came over, consoled him, said something to him. And since then, he's only got like a 2.12 ERA since 4 years ago, a couple days ago. Well, yesterday. 4 years ago
incredible.
Yesterday.
It's absolutely incredible.
And the guy, he's also 19 straight road starts without allowing an earned run.
I mean, he's basically unhittable, Mike. I mean, you can't if you're a team that's going up against him, basically you're not even going to get a run. I mean, that's less than a run. You're not crossing home plate. I mean, pretty much.
They just played the Padres, and they are not short of firepower.
No, absolutely
I mean, nobody will really give them, will say anything about that. Like, obviously, Tatis, he's one of the best players in the game. I mean, he's sitting there with 17 home runs and makes him look silly, makes Machado look silly, and it's just Hosmer. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And the other night, he gets into like a bases loaded jam because a couple of like misplayed balls, not necessarily like errors. I think it was one, but there was a couple of close calls that they just couldn't get, and they couldn't, give him that out. And he's like, all right, I'm doing it myself. So 1 out, bases loaded. He's like, all right, I'll just strike out the next 2.
Yeah. And then you hear the latest where they were saying that the Mets are coming to his defense. People saying that he's scuffing the ball and he's putting something on the ball. Like,
and then you got all the Mets sitting there on Twitter. No, I can confirm he does not put anything on the ball. No, I can confirm he does not put anything on the ball. But, one person that it did look like he was doing it was Yu Darvish. There was some, zoom ins on him and his glove. And supposedly the newest thing is rosin mixed with sunscreen is giving extra spin to the ball and whatnot. But when Jacob deGrom, you can't accuse him of doctoring the ball because the issue is spin. And the guy's not throwing breaking balls.
He's throwing heat.
He's throwing heat. Yeah. That's it. And it's just unbelievable. And Friday night at Citi Field is going to be bonkers. Yeah. The Mets play the Padres again, and they're going to be at 90% capacity.
Oh, it's going to be crazy over there.
So this is the first, pretty much real baseball game that we've had now in over a year and a half.
Is that fully vaccinated? Like, how's that going to work?
So many of the seats are going to be fully vaccinated, and then they have some of the social distancing, which is why it goes down to 90%, because there's going to be some, some areas where not a lot of, so maybe like 95% are vaccinated, and then 5% of the non-vaccinated seating, which is spread out. So maybe it's something along those lines. I don't know the exact numbers, but they're predicting 90% capacity in the building.
That's good. And I think they're giving out free vaccines there too. Like if you get a beer or something or whatever.
Yeah, all the stadiums for the most part are doing that. They're just, obviously they're pushing for more and more to get vaccinated so they can get back to 100% in everything, not just sports, schools and people going back to work in the city, and and people are coming back and forth and doing that. So we are trending in the right direction, but who's not trending in the right direction? And I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about it with our guest, because she is a huge Yankees fan. But let's just touch on it really quick.
It's pretty bad, man. I mean, they can't hit. They're embarrassing themselves. They can't pitch. Boone gets ejected, and they got screwed because that umpire, what he did, that wasn't a strike three. That thing was like, out of the plate, and he gets called out in strike three. But like, the Yankees look lifeless. Like, they just look like they don't want to be there. They look like they don't want to play. It's just a completely lifeless team. And there's got to be a shakeup there somewhere, man. Whether it's getting rid of Boone or something. They got it, but they got to do something to get some life back in this team right now, because it's brutal to watch. You can't even, it's unwatchable is what it is. You can't watch it. The 31-29, fourth in the AL East. I mean, it's just, they're striking out on a constant basis. They get, they get swept by the Red Sox. I mean, I don't know what to say, man. It's just,
and they were up last night and gave it away.
Yeah. They've lost 4 in a row. I mean, Cashman's got to do something. And again, I think this has to do a lot with the way, I go back to when they fired Girardi. They should have never fired him. I thought he was a perfect manager for that team, because those, this sort of prayer friendly, let's be nice, and, Aaron Boone, sort of the way we communicate. Well, look how that's where with Gary Sanchez. I mean, that guy, he went from being a stud to like he's just sitting right on the bench. So I don't know. I don't know.
So, on that note, you saw the text.
On that note, but
okay.
Listen, the Yankees. The Yankees will turn around. As a diehard Yankee fan here, as the one who carries the flag for the Yankees on the show, they'll turn it around. I think they'll be all right, but there's going to have to be a change sooner or later, because this can't keep going on. I mean, 4 in a row, no life to the team. Something's got to change.
Yeah. Well, let's table it right now and bring on the very eager host of Danny's Dugout. Please welcome Dani Cipolla.
You guys are sitting there talking shit, and I'm over here in the background, and I can't say a damn thing. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
You can curse.
Yes, you can. You let it rip, especially when you're talking about the Yankees. Just do it.
I'm a Yankee
of course, the Mets fan is going to sit over there and say that. But look, Boone is trash. Cashman at this point can go suck a dick for all I care. Like, because he's probably one calling the shots. Like, oh well, this is what you need to do. Look. Boone needs to stop being a player's fucking manager. Someone needs to go into that fucking clubhouse and do some tough fucking love and tell these guys to show the fuck up. Like, we have the potential to literally dominate everyone everyone. We have seen it. It's like absolutely mind-boggling. First off, one, our pitching is fine except for Tyone. Okay, that motherfucker. I have no idea what's going on there. All right, like I get that he's Cole's friend, but like I'm over it. I'm done. And then like I get it. Kluber's out, but he just pitched a no-hitter, and then he got kind of hurt. And like, you know what? You get a break from me. You just pitched a no-hitter, and we haven't had that since Coney. Okay, so we're good here. But like our pitching is fine. But how is it that we've been begging for pitching, and then all of a sudden our hitting is just like boom, gone? The fuck?
It's just a lifeless team, man. They're just swinging for home runs.
And then hold on, sorry, I understand it's your show, but then you're sitting over here talking about fucking Gary Sanchez. He's been an egotistical piece of shit since day fucking one. Girardi calls him out multiple times for being an egotistical piece of shit, and that's why they got rid of Girardi, is because of that, because he wasn't dealing with that shit. Guess what? Players need to be put in their place. Period. End of story. They get egos, and then it fucking skyrockets. Then it becomes a whole problem, and that's what we have with this team. They're all egotistical little shits who are getting paid a lot of fucking money, and they're playing for the New York fucking Yankees, and it's getting to their head, and it's a problem. Okay, I'm going to take a sip of tequila now. Damn.
There you go. Look, there you go. You got the whole setup over there.
LeMahieu can't buy a hit. I mean, I don't know.
When LeMahieu can't buy a hit, you understand that pitching is like, fuck you guys. You guys came after us a couple years ago. Like 2019. Hitting was dominating pitching. Pitching figured it out and was like, no, we're not allowing this to happen anymore. And I love pitching more than anything else in this world. Like these shutout games and these 3-2 like games I'm loving them. But at the same time, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. It's all over baseball. It's not just with us, but like, it's like great, but it's also really irritating.
Yes. And Mike,
I mean, there's no firepower all across the league. And obviously you have the standouts like the Tatises and, Ohtani, who's just a freaking amateur.
Dude, I was not about the Ohtani train in any way, shape, or form that fucking rookie year when he won Rookie of the Year. I'm like, the motherfucker got injured and he wasn't even playing. Like, how the fuck do you win this? I understand. Don't get me wrong. Like, the whole Babe Ruth fucking thing and the BBWAA sucking his dick was like a whole thing. But, like, I'm sorry. I am not shy in any way, shape, or form.
This show is open to all of that.
Well,
you're taking advantage of every single inch of it.
I love it.
Well, that's what my show is like too. Like I don't hold back in any way, shape, or form. So like I understand why like they were sucking the dick of Ohtani, and now I can actually see it because it's actually producing in front of my eyes. But that rookie year, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Right? Like that was a joke.
Who did he beat for Rookie of the Year that year? Was it Glaber? No.
Andujar,
yes.
Look, don't get me wrong. Like I see it now. But then I'm like, dude, Andujar had one of the fucking best years, except his guy can't field shit. Yeah, well, that was about it. But okay, critical. I digress. Anyways, hi, how you doing? How's everyone?
Hey,
hello. Hello. No,
I just jumped right into it.
Yeah.
Hey, fuck it. No, it's great to have you on. For those of you that do not know, Dani Cipolla, she is a Yankee super fan, if you couldn't tell. She definitely does not hold back when talking about the Yankees. She has her own show called Dani's Dugout. I guess, tell us a little bit about, how that all started.
How it all started? Well,
just your love for the Yankees and then how it progressed into.
All right, then we're going way back. All right, so we'll start from the beginning. So, I am the first female in my family after 40 years. Wow. So it was just boys after boys after boys, and I was the first girl. Like they actually thought I was going to be a boy. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. Like my name was going to be Daniel. Like that was it. Like there was no other name picked out. My brother wanted me to be George for some reason. He would like point to the belly and be like, that's George. That's my little brother, George. No, I came out a little girl named Danielle. But so like first girl, and then like everyone tried to put me in dresses, and I have been the biggest tomboy since day fucking one. Like anytime you put me in a dress, I was like, no. So I would watch my grandfather and my brother and my dad, like, throw football in the front yard, throw baseball in the front yard. I'm like, why can't I play? And like, I would get upset. And then I would see like this relationship going on with my grandfather and my brother, like a lot quicker than me, of course, because I'm a girl and like, you know, you relate better with boys. So I was like, how it wasn't to like win my grandfather's affection, but it was also just to kind of like figure out a way to connect with my grandfather because me and my grandma were tight. And I went into my grandfather's office one day and like, I understand there's Marvel memorabilia behind me, but like all of my Yankee memorabilia is like right in front of me. But like, I went into my grandfather's office and it was Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, like name fucking all-time player. They were all over the walls. And I was like, 5-year-old little me, I'm like, I can figure this out. I can totally figure this out. So I'd pick up a book and I'd stare at pictures of Mickey Mantle like upside down, like acting like I was reading whatever. And then my grandfather saw me one day and he's just like, do you know who that is? And I'm like, no, I can't read. Like, I'm dyslexic on top of that. I definitely can't read. Mm-hmm. And he's like, that's Mickey Mantle, one of the greatest baseball players of all time. And like would go over Mickey Mantle with me, show me like old Mickey Mantle things that he had, like clips that he had recorded and stuff like that. And then, so I found a love for Mickey Mantle. So like my favorite player of all time is Mickey Mantle. I'm my grandfather's granddaughter. And I came into their house one time. We went and visited them and my grandfather's watching a Yankee game. And he's yelling and screaming at the television. And we would always find it so entertaining. Like grandpa yells at the TV. And I sat down next to him, watching the game with him, like all excited, learning about baseball. And and I'm like, Grandpa, they can't hear you. It's a TV. I just learned that the other day. Mom said they can't hear you. And he's like, look, you're going to learn something right now. Whatever you say to that television while a Yankee game is on, they can hear you. They know exactly what you're saying. And I was like, oh, okay. So I would yell at the TV with him and like it created this whole relationship with me and my grandfather. And then it actually extended to me and my dad. My dad would take me to Yankee games in the future. But my grandfather is the reason why I got into baseball and why I wanted to like stay into it just so that way I had something to always talk about with him. And now years down the line, Dad's taking me to a bunch of games. I've been a psychotic fan since then. And I've overtaken my grandfather, my uncles, everyone. Like if they need Yankee something, they call me, they text me like, what's going on here? Like what's going on with this? Why is this playing like this? My grandfather actually texted me yesterday. He's like, if you haven't noticed, the Yankees are playing like dog shit. I'm like, yeah, Grandpa, I fucking noticed. Thanks. Thanks for that. But, so it started there and then I went into the modeling career. Don't ask how that happened. I did. I've always loved modeling. I always loved like, that kind of stuff. And, I don't know, like I left the modeling industry after a bunch of, let's just say the Me Too movement shit was happening in front of my eyes. And I said, I couldn't take this anymore. I was bartending at the time. And a friend of mine walked into the building, saw that I was just like depleted because I'd literally just left the industry that day. And he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no. And I just like unleashed on him. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do next. Like I've always wanted to be a model. I've always wanted to be a Victoria's Secret angel. I literally got Victoria's Secret logo tattooed to my ring finger because I was marrying my goals. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, my friend's playing for the Blue Jays tomorrow. Like he's pitching tomorrow. Like, do you want to just like, I'll get you. Yeah. So, Jake Patrica at the time, he was like minor league or whatever playing for the Blue Jays. It was September call-ups. He was called up. He brought me onto Yankee Stadium field for batting practice, even though it was a Sunday. So there was no batting practice, but it was a bunch of pitchers on the field. So I was happy because I'm like, I get to watch pitching on the field before the game. This is great. And I was smiling ear to ear. You could see my fucking gums. I was the happiest person you could ever see, like ever. And I'm talking to Patrica. I'm talking about how like Gary Sanchez is shit. Like I was always against Gary Sanchez.
While he was like right behind you, right? Pretty much.
And I think I was talking about Loaiza and how he needed to get it together a little bit and like whatever. We were just camaraderie, blah, 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 blah. And then we go up to our seats and seats are given by the Blue Jays. So like I'm sitting with the Blue Jays family members. And I will not forget the family of the starting pitcher was sitting behind me. It was his first time starting at Yankee Stadium. They're all actually Yankee fans, but they're Blue Jays fans now because of their son. And like, it wasn't the first pitch. It might have been the second or the third. And he throws a pitch. McCutchen hits a home run. I stand up and I'm screaming and yelling. I'm like, this is great. And the father behind me is like, this girl's cheering for the wrong team, but she got her tickets by Blue Jay, and it took everything in my power to just sit there and not say anything. And I had brought two of like my friend who brought me, and then I brought my best friend with me as well because he was a psychotic Yankee fan as well. They both hold my leg and they're like, Dani, don't you dare. And I'm like, I will be a good girl. I will be a good girl, but I'm not in the wrong fucking, like, you're in the wrong fucking stadium. I'm not in the wrong section. Fuck you. Like, I was like saying it under my breath because he was like, this girl's in the wrong fucking section. Da, 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 da. I was like, you're in the wrong fucking stadium. Like, you can't just like, you're in Yankee Stadium. Mm-hmm. What do you expect? So I kept my cool and I stayed for like the rest of the inning. And then I looked at the mom behind me. She's like, I'm so sorry. I was like, no, it's totally fine. Like, I get it. Like, that's your son. I'm like, I'm going to leave so like he can come down and enjoy his son's game. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean any of that to happen. I'm going to go like hang out with my bartender so that way I can get free tequila for the rest of the day and like watch the game. And my friend is like, right before that, my friend's looking at me like, this is what you do. This is what I do. What are you fucking talking about? I'm like, I'm watching a game. Like what? And he's like, no, this is what you do. Like create a podcast, talk about the Yankees. I'm like, what? It's like, people do that? And they're like, yes. Like, what am I supposed to call it? Dani's Dugout? Like, no. And he's like, that's exactly what you call it. I'm like, I'm sitting over here making a sexual joke because I'm a female and it's a dugout and I'm Dani. Like, I'm not fucking actually like saying a name here.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, that is what you call it. You're creating this podcast. It's happening. And we talked about it for the rest of the game. And like, I thought about it for a little while and then come off season, I was like, fuck it. And I started Dani's Dugout. And that's my story.
That's an awesome story.
Yeah, no, that's an incredible story. You know, I want to get to the Mickey. You know, I'm fascinated about the Mickey Mantle thing because Mantle obviously played in the late 50s, early in the 60s.
My grandfather.
Obviously, your grandfather. But what about the players of today? Jeter,
Mariano.
Mariano, Posada.
Mo has always been my boy. There was also that time, you know, when you're like a little girl, like, oh my God, Derek Jeter. Like, I have that moment. I have a fucking Derek Jeter plaque right above me. I can't say that I don't love Derek Jeter in any way. He'd probably be my number 2, ironically. But Mariano Rivera was always like, the fact, like the statistics that came out with him, everything like that, like, I loved him. And then I loved Andy Pettitte as well. He was one of the greatest starters. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says about that whole steroid situation. Like, everyone came out behind him. He was an amazing starting pitcher. And then I had the best closer in the fucking game. So I was really living that like life. And I also, like, as much as he was an actual cheater, but Roger fucking Clemens was like such an asshole that I loved him so much because I'm like, this guy, he like literally goes and hits his own son with a ball. like he's just fucking great. Like, I thought he was amazing. And I grew up with like a dad whose favorite pitcher was Ron Guidry. Yeah. So like pitching was always like a thing for us. Louisiana, and dude, the day that I met that man, I think my heart like stopped because I was, he shook my hand and I'm like, you struck out 18 people in a row. Like, I'm shaking your hand right now. And he's like, it's just a hand. Like, I didn't notice I said it out loud and I said it out loud and I'm like, oh shit, I said that. Okay. It's just a hand. Like, you don't understand. But like the Mickey Mantle thing is like from my grandfather, and learning the game and stuff like that. And then also like learning about Mickey Mantle and how much of a savage he was as like a person and how much he would literally. My favorite thing is like, he wrote down like, oh, I get a blowjob under the bleachers before a game. It's great. I'm like, what? Like, you are a savage. I love you. And that's the whole Mickey Mantle thing.
Have you ever seen, by the way, we talk about sports movies. You ever see 61 with
that is one of my favorite fucking movies.
Mantle and Maris?
It really does depict who Mickey was because a lot of people would say like he was kind of an asshole, this, that, and the third, but like there is so much truth in that movie. Like that point where he told the guy, he was like, tell him to throw that pitch again. That happened. That time where he went on the bus and ate with his fellow playmate because they were black and they weren't allowed in the restaurant. He did those things. Like, he was a really great guy. He just, wasn't great to women.
Yeah, no, that's one of my favorites too. I haven't seen it in a while, but definitely one of my favorites. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Billy Crystal did a great job.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, Rick doesn't watch. There's a lot of different movies that we've got.
Other than Major League and maybe.
Major League is such a great movie.
Oh, it's
like that was my team. Like in 2019, I was like, "Am I watching Major League right now?" Like a bunch of these fuckers, like no one knows who you are, and you're fucking killing it, and we end up winning the division. I'm like, this is Major League. This is just what it is. Where's Wild Thing at?
Yeah, no, that's a classic. 61 obviously is a classic as well.
Yeah.
So
we could go on forever when it comes to baseball.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Rookie, Sandlot. Anyways.
So if you're a big pitching fan, so I guess let's talk about what we started the show with. DeGrom, like watching DeGrom pitch right now. What is your
DeGrom is a fucking fantastic pitcher, and I wish I had him. Like I am the only thing that the jealousy that I have towards the Mets is DeGrom, not Syndergaard, because like he fucked a trashy woman called Call Her Daddy, but like God, DeGrom is such a great pitcher, and can I have him, please? Like that's what I'm just gonna end it right there. Can I take him?
In what sense?
When Stephen Cohen literally said, like, you think that's crazy? Wait until I trade DeGrom to the Yankees. I was like, I'm waiting. I'm fucking waiting. It's like you lost all that money. You might need some back. Like, we'll take it off your hands.
Steve Cohen is he's not shy on Twitter.
He's gonna write that check. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna pay that man his money man. For sure. So what is your if you love pitching, what's your take on all of these no hitters just going on left and right? So
me and my assistant actually looked into this. So the no hitters are actually within 3 teams. So Rangers, Seattle, and oh my God, what was the third one? Rangers, Cincinnati,
Pirates.
Seattle. No, we didn't.
Diamondbacks.
Was it the Pirates that we played? It was fuck. I can't remember the third team. Like, I'm not going through my emails right now, but there was a third team, and literally.
Oh, the Orioles?
No, it wasn't the Orioles. Shockingly enough, it wasn't the Orioles, but it was Texas when we did no hitter against them. And then that was the second time that they had a no hitter on them. Seattle had a no hitter twice.
Twins.
And then have we played the Twins?
It might have been the Indians.
Think it might be Cleveland. Actually, it might be Cleveland.
It might be, yeah.
But like it's those 3 teams have had 2 no hitters against them.
Yeah.
So that equals the 6 no hitters that we've had so far. So is it pitching or is it just these teams don't know how to hit? So like
I think it's a little of a mixture of both for sure.
Definitely, but like if you look at it all around, like. Pitching is dominating hitting. Averages are completely lower than they've ever been this year. I love it. But it's just those teams when it comes to the no-hitters. So I can't really say any more on that other nice little fun fact.
Yeah, well, you love the pitching and the no-hitting when it's not the Yankees at bat.
Well, duh.
Because this year is just like this year is just ridiculous because you don't really expect that from the Yankees.
We can get 3 runs, and then after that, if you get a 4th, we're fucked. Yeah, except for when an umpire fucks you out of an entire goddamn game, and that should have been a fucking walk. That shit was 3 feet out. When fucking Nevin comes out with an IV in his arm, like you know you're wrong. You know you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what?
The motherfucker has an IV in his arm and he's coming out like yelling. And then Mendez, like everybody was just like, the fuck are you doing? But it's our coaches that are coming out and not Boone. I can't wait until he's gone. But at the same time, I'm like, upper management, stop. There's a whole thing going on behind the scenes that is not just Boone. And I can't just lay everything in on him because it's not just him.
So then
it is everyone.
Let's get into it. I am not a fan of analytics. I don't know how you feel about it. I'm just not a fan of it. I think what's happening is the analytics guys are really running the team. What are your thoughts on that?
Analytics. I've always preached about how analytics is ruining the game of baseball. Yeah. These guys are not robots. Yeah. They're human fucking beings. And when you get in their head, your analytics doesn't mean shit anymore. It doesn't mean shit anymore because they're not playing at their analytical best because they feel like shit. And that's what's going to continue to happen. Mm-hmm. They are human fucking beings. They're not robots. They're not machines. Like, we need behind home plate so that way we can have fucking calls correctly. But like, you can't keep treating these players like this. The fucking Athletics started this shit. Have they gone to a World Series since?
Nope.
Have they won a World Series since?
Nope.
No, they haven't. So why don't we all just cut the shit and start playing baseball again? Thank you very much. Have you ever seen the movie Trouble with the Curve? Trouble with the Curve?
No, I've not seen that.
The Clint Eastwood one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fuck the romance in the middle with fucking Justin Timberlake. No one gives a fuck about that.
Yeah.
But like, the point that they were trying to make is analytics isn't baseball. Like, if you're watching for a baseball factor, analytics isn't baseball. This guy was blind and he could hear that this kid could not hit. He knew he couldn't hit because he could hear it. You need people like that again watching these games, picking these players, doing all of that. And the best part is, at the end of it, she sees a pitcher and she heard it. She heard the fact that he could fucking throw a curveball. And then this kid throws a curveball against apparently the best hitter, and he can't hit a curveball. That's what we need again. We don't need this fucking analytic shit, because that analytical shit pulled out the guy that can't hit a goddamn curveball.
Yeah, well, I mean, the way Cashman, he's devoted to it. The front office is devoted to it. They all love it.
Cashman can suck my fucking imaginary dick. I'm so done with his shit. Everybody's like, Savage Cashman or Cashman we trust. I'm sorry. I have no trust or faith in any of the higher-ups in the Yankee organization since fucking George died.
But here's the thing, right? Here's the conundrum you have. If you get rid of Brian Cashman, who's there to replace him? Like, there's nobody out there.
Normally, there would be this. There would be this point where I'd be like, I volunteer as tribute, but I don't volunteer as tribute as Cashman, but I volunteer as tribute as fucking Boone. I will take that spot in any fucking day, anytime, anywhere.
Can do that job. I mean, all you do is take orders there. Yeah.
No. No, you don't. You tell the upper office, go fuck yourself, watch me win this game, and then you're not going to fire me because I'm winning you fucking games, because I'm taking care of my players the way they're supposed to be taken care of, and I'm giving them tough fucking love. Players, managers do not work, and we're seeing that right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Girardi should have stayed another fucking year, and we found that out not just because of the stupid fucking Sanchez bullshit, but the Astros were cheating that year. We would have gone to the World Series.
We almost went to the World Series. Yeah, Game 7, we almost went.
Like, I understand he should have probably challenged that play, but at the end of the day, if they weren't fucking cheating, there would have been no fucking challenge or anything necessary.
Yeah, well.
Listen, I hear you. I mean, I'm with you on that. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, but yeah, I mean, hey, you got the attitude to get those Yankees into shape. It doesn't look like you would take anything. You would not take. I'm a
Sicilian New Yorker. There's no way I'm putting up with shit.
Then it would literally be Danny's dugout there. So that's
goals.
That's perfect. So
dreams do come true.
Talk to us a little bit about I know you're also very active on like TikTok. It's not really just baseball.
I have to, like, you have to be at the end of the day. You have to be like connected with the people that listen to you. You have to. I mean, COVID really helped show that, like, obviously sports can stand still. So what are we gonna do? And all I kept on thinking of is, like, I'm surrounded by my family and I'm doing great. Like, how do I bring joy to the world? And then I kind of leaned in on TikTok because I was just like, let me just make people laugh. Like, at the end of the day, like, we all just need a laugh at the end of the day. And I focused in on that a little bit. And then, like, there would be moments where I'd be like, okay, maybe, like, let me throw in some baseball stuff because, like, this is what I love. So I do, like, fun facts of the day, and I'd pick, like, a person who got called up that day or a person whose birthday it was, and I would go over, like, fun facts about them. And I remember I actually did one on oh my God, why is his name escaping me? Barry Bonds. And I just kept on saying after every fact, steroids. And everybody was just like, oh, because A-Rod didn't do it either. Like, can't wait till you do A-Rods. And I was like, dude, I hate, like, you're talking to a person who doesn't like A-Rod. Just like I don't like Gary Sanchez. I don't like A-Rod. Like, I never did.
Wow, really?
It wasn't like a hatred for him like Gary Sanchez is, but I just never liked him. Anytime he came out to plate, I was always so worried, except for when I was at a game. My dad took me to one of the games where bases were loaded. A-Rod was up. We were fucked if we didn't get a grand slam. Like, fucked. I think it was around Easter. Yeah. I don't know, years ago. But my dad looked at me. He's like, I'm so sorry. This is the first time I'm going to take you to like a losing Yankee game. Like, we had never been to one yet. I hadn't been to one yet. And
wow.
And we went to Yankee games a lot. But anyways, so like, I was like, oh my God, like, no. So my dad's like, all right, let's go. And I was like, excuse me? We don't leave this area until the fat fucking lady sings. Like, there's no fucking way I'm leaving this. Like, I don't care that it's him up. I don't care who is up. We're not leaving. The motherfucker hit a grand slam.
Wow.
And we won the game. And my dad looked at me. He's like, apparently you're A-Rod's good luck charm. Because every time after that, we would go to a game and A-Rod would play phenomenally. And I'm like, and I don't even like the guy. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, are you just trying to prove me wrong?
Listen,
if so, keep doing
for all the stuff that A-Rod pulled, he was a great player here, man. I mean, really, he would have been
dating Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, well, listen, he would have been ALCS MVP in 2004. If it wasn't for that.
Oh, he was.
He
was.
He
in my eyes, he was.
Yeah, in your eyes,
in my eyes, he was.
He would have been the ALCS MVP. They would have won the World Series that year, but no.
The wonderful chop that cost them the series.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
We have Petey's over here, best guest ever. Thanks.
Oh, well, thanks.
Thanks, Pete. Pete's creating action tennis, and that has to be coming soon, Pete. So we're getting ready. Me and Rick are getting ready. It's action tennis. It's like, obstacles, like American Ninja Warrior with tennis.
What?
Yeah. And he's bringing it to New York soon. He's bringing it to New York soon. So
I need to see that.
He's going to keep us posted.
I need to commentate. Can I commentate?
Sure.
Well, I mean, fuck it. I mean, that would definitely be some color commentary. For sure. That would be
dodgeball.
That'd be some fun content. All right, Pete, you got a commentator. Yeah. So you don't really just do all baseball. Like, your content is all over the place. And obviously you got Marvel on right now.
I love my Marvel. I've always been a psychotic Marvel fan. I am dyslexic, as I mentioned earlier. So like, I couldn't really read that well. Like, it would always frustrate me. So I forgot who it was who handed me my first comic book. I should probably remember that, but I remember somebody handing me an Iron Man comic book. And I just fell in love. And Iron Man has been Tony Stark is bae since I was like 7 years old. Like, I love him. And as you can see, Iron Man's right there. Like, I love Iron Man so much. And there's two things in this world that I have called. That's it. That's all I got. That's the only thing I have. It's my like pat on the back. I'm obsessed with Sleeping Beauty and I'm obsessed with Marvel. I am obsessed with Robert Downey Jr. and I have been since I was like 10. I saw him in Weird Science. My dad showed me Weird Science. And I was like, Dad, he's so cute. Like, look at him in his gown. Like, I loved Robert Downey Jr. And my dad literally just shakes his head. He's like, my daughter's in love with a drug addict. Like, that's exactly what he said. I'm like, what? So like, I didn't understand. I'm like fucking 10 years old. It's like 2003. I didn't know that he was a drug addict and fucking went to jail multiple times. I just saw him in an 80s movie so I think that's what he is now. And I fell in love with Robert Downey Jr. I watched all of his shit, found out all of his stuff. And I would always make the comparison, like, he could be Iron Man. Iron Man has like his alcohol problem and like he has this and da 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 da. I was like, wouldn't that be so cool? And then the motherfucker becomes Iron Man. And my dad literally, like, when it got announced, my dad was holding coffee and dropped his mug and looked at me and I'm like, what? I was like so scared because like my dad is so obsessed with coffee. Like, if he drops his mug, something bad, like someone just died. But no, he was like, Robert Downey Jr. is playing Iron Man. I'm like, what? Yeah. And I was like, I called it. You're welcome. Thank you. Goodbye. And I walked away. But at the other time, like Maleficent was always my favorite villain, and I was obsessed with Tomb Raider as a kid. And I loved Angelina Jolie, and everyone has always told me I looked like Angelina Jolie. And I was like, wouldn't it be amazing? Like, she has the best bone structure. She has this and the third. Motherfucker plays like Maleficent. And I'm like, those are my two. That's it. That's all I got. If only I could call like 28 World Series. But like, that's my claim to fame. Like, I called those two people playing like my two favorite characters playing my two favorite people. Like, I said that backwards. My two favorite people playing my two favorite characters. I was like, this is dreams come true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I Endgame can't be spoilers anymore, right?
No, I cried for 5 hours straight. I'm not even joking. I cried for 5 hours straight. And my friends were like, you didn't see it in the movie theater? I'm like, I read the fucking comic books. You think that I was going to go see that in the movie theater watching the love of my life die? No, thank you. Like, no. So when it came out, I remember I was working with my roommate at the time. We were working at the bar. And she's like, Dani, guess what we get to go do when we get home? And I was like, I get to watch Endgame. Like, I was so excited. And from start to finish, I just kept on looking at Tony like... And then it happened, and I didn't stop crying. Like, I was sobbing so many like, I don't cry at movies. I could watch Marley and Me, and I will not cry. I swear to God.
Come on,
I swear to God. My
Marley and Me.
No, I swear to God. Like, I swear on whatever the fuck you need me to. Give me the holy fucking Bible. I did not cry. I swear I didn't. Fucking Iron Man dying. It wasn't crying. I fucking sobbed for 5 hours. It didn't help that when the movie ended, then they did the Stan Lee tribute, and it just made it even worse.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. It hit every fucking feel in my body. I was like, 7-year-old me was just like, I couldn't.
But you watch Marley and you're like, eh.
I guarantee you if I watch it now, like I watched it when it first came out, and I definitely didn't have any feelings as a teenager in any way, shape, or form. But if I watch it now, I'd be like, because I recently, not recently, but a couple of years ago, I put down a cat. So like, if I had to go, like I 1000% cry. But now, no. Marvel gets me way too much. It's not fair. And it's like, it hits you so differently when you read the fucking comic books, because Marvel didn't do its comic books fans dirty like DC did.
Yeah.
So like, they do such a great job to make us happy, make the public happy who hasn't read it. And I'm like, it's got to stop fucking destroying me.
Well, considering Rick you're not too big on Marvel, right?
No, I haven't.
Well,
I have no idea what the fucking bitch is
let's get
your
final take. How are you liking the shows like Falcon and WandaVision, and then Loki's Wednesday? So talk to us about how you're feeling about that.
I'm so excited for Loki.
Me
so
too.
excited. Like, and I promised my friend that I would not watch it without them. So I'm sitting over here like, I can't watch it at 3 o'clock in the morning. I can't watch it at 3 o'clock in the morning. I have to wait till 9 p.m. This is fucking killing me. But WandaVision was absolutely amazing. I think that people expected way too much when it came to it. Like, they expected all these like Manifesto to come, but it was really just supposed to tell you her story, because we never got like that true connection with her. Like, we have all the other characters, like Robert Downey Jr.'s character, Iron Man. We saw everything, Captain America. We saw these people become who they are. Yeah. So I think that they finally needed to do that with WandaVision, and with Wanda, and they did it with WandaVision. And then same with Falcon. Like, you needed to see their journey in becoming that hero. And it's looking like Scarlet Witch is not going to be a hero, even though she's supposed to be, but it's totally fine. And
I thought they were both great.
Agatha isn't supposed to be a bad guy. She's not. She helps the Fantastic Four, which is what like people kept on thinking, like the Fantastic Four were going to come into this because of Agatha. And like, comic book nerds are just like, oh, is this going to happen? It didn't.
So, Dani, where can people find your show? Like, where go to TikTok? Like, where can they go?
TikTok is Dani Cipolla. Instagram is Dani_Cipolla. And then the show is Dani's Dugout. I also have 2 other ones. One that I just host on my Dugout broadcasting company, which is Dani's Game of Inches. And that's 2 of my girls talking about football. And then I have my other show, Yeah, no, I'm trying to build a whole fucking company here.
Nice.
Look at that.
I'm doing as best as I can. But Twitter is Dani Cipolla as well. You can go on there and fucking yell at me all you want. And what else? Oh, and I have another show, Tequila and the Tea, where I interview really fascinating people. And I have a special guest coming on next Monday, and it's a famous TikToker. So hopefully everyone will enjoy that.
Well,
famous TikToker, huh?
2.8 million followers, so we'll see.
Wow.
2.8 million. Okay.
Well, he's a huge Yankee fan. Shockingly enough, he messages me on Instagram asking to help like get in with the Yankees, and then all of a sudden I'm like, "You're fucking wait a second." So
wow,
you got another new fan.
New fan, Pete.
Well,
and we got and Pete's got commentators for Action Tennis.
Yeah, I would just love to sit there.
Better commentator than A-Rod. Let's just put it out there. Way better.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that was just pathetic last night.
Alex Cora is a great manager. He's a cheating piece of shit. Thank you. That is my TED Talk. Goodbye.
I do want to touch on one thing that you said in your questionnaire here. We asked, because of Playing the Field is a dating app for sports fans, and I asked, have you dated sports fans versus non-sports fans, and what you said?
What I said?
What you answered it. Yes, it's annoying.
Oh no, I refuse to date sports fans.
Oh, you refuse to date sports fans?
No, I don't, because they're fucking annoying as shit. They sit there and be like, oh, well, this, that, and that. I'm like, dude, like, I do this for a living. Like, I want a break. I need a break. So, like, yeah, it's fun to, like.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's fun to, like, have, like, somebody to talk about with the Yankees and stuff like that and sports and yada, yada, yada. But, like, I don't want to come home to it. Like, this is what I do. So sometimes, like, you need a separation from that. And, like, I rather have somebody who's, like, into boxing or into fucking, like, tennis, where I'm over here, like, I could give a fuck less about either one of those. Like, if you're into baseball, I won't date you. I'm so sorry to all of, like, my fans.
Football, basketball, hockey.
Yeah, because I don't give a fuck about any of those sports. And I'll sit there and I'll just pick on you because, like, I hate Tom Brady, but that's about it.
Well,
I have to.
A lot of people can agree on that.
I think a lot of people on that one.
However, I am turning around a little bit, but not.
It's just because he's not in Boston anymore.
Well, no, and that
it's because he's not. He's not a like a robot.
Yeah. Anytime somebody goes to Florida, the Floridian comes out in them, no matter what. Florida man is a thing, and it'll come out of you eventually.
Yeah, no, it's because he's not behind Belichick's shadow and the PR wall that is the New England Patriots, and he's just being a human again. Yeah. And obviously,
I mean, Tom Brady won the game of life. Okay, he's got Giselle, he's got all these rings, he's a great fucking quarterback. Just go away now. Just go away. However, my favorite quarterback of all time, Peyton Manning.
Okay.
I was a quarterback. Like, when I paid attention to football,
where do your football allegiances lie?
I'm a Steelers fan.
Yeah,
Steelers.
I'm a Steelers fan. I don't really give a fuck about football that much, so it doesn't really mean anything because I will sit here and admit it. I am a quarterback follower. Wherever Peyton Manning went, like, I would always root for them, but I would always root for the Steelers as well. And then, like, Patrick Mahomes, man, I am so interested in that kid. So I will be following him as well.
All right.
Dani, thank you very much. Look forward to having you commentate some Action Tennis when me and Rick go head to head on
where one of us goes down in a heap.
Everybody go follow Dani's Dugout, Dani Cipolla on Twitter, and Dani_Cipolla on Instagram. Dani, thank you again. Hopefully your Yankees could turn it around and enjoy Loki on Wednesday, even though you have to wait. You can watch it and just pretend like you didn't watch it. I mean, that's what Loki would do, right?
Doing that.
That's what Loki would do, right?
Talking about that.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Dani.
Have a good night.
Man, that's the best one we had so far. What life on
that? Pete certainly agrees with that.
Yeah.
But Pete, man, that's a great commentator.
Yeah, Pete.
That would be a great thing. But definitely keep us posted because this action tennis needs to happen. Come on, summer, let's go. He said soon, by the way. He said soon earlier, so we're ready. We're ready. However, it's going to be a little tougher in the heat, obstacles, and then heat and humidity. Ooh, it's going to be even rougher.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough.
It is what it is. But that was a great, great guest. Pete agrees. Good fit for sure. Commentator. Perfect. So let's talk about good fits. And Julio Jones was not a good fit for the Falcons in his eyes because he wanted out of there. He said that on live TV. A whole thing started, and yesterday gets traded to the Tennessee Titans. Pete's saying it's indoors, climate controlled, maybe. That would be great. But Julio Jones heading over to the Tennessee Titans to join Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, and Ryan Tannehill. Like, granted, offenses don't win championships. You need a full team. But, my goodness, how much is this going to help Derrick Henry and the rest of that offense?
I think it's going to be great for Julio Jones to get a fresh start. But he does get hurt. He's been hurt recently. And, he is obviously better than Corey Davis. But he's been hurt. But that's
Corey Davis is gone, right? Yeah, Corey Davis is with us.
Jets.
He's with the Jets.
And so, but they're obviously with Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, and Ryan Tannehill,
and they have what's his face,
A.J. Brown,
Jonnu Smith
as well. I mean, that's going to be a ridiculous offense. I mean, that AFC South with the Colts is going to be tremendous. Obviously, the Texans are just in shambles.
Yeah, 0-17 first team. Huh?
Yeah, maybe. And then you have the Jaguars starting with Tebow down there. Trevor Lawrence. So we'll see. But, I mean, that's kind of stunning, that signing. But we'll wait and see. I mean, look, on paper right now, they look really good. I think the Colts are better. But, Tannehill, now he's just going to be dropping 7-step drops and just chucking it downfield. I mean, he's just going to go deep. And that team is going to be great. Question is, can he stay healthy? And can Tannehill keep playing at the level that he's playing? Wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, of course, injury concerns definitely looming with lost other way. There you go. Yeah. No, but obviously injury is always a concern, especially when you're adding another game to the season.
Yes, that's the other thing. Yeah.
But granted, if he's healthy for 75% of the games, you have to defend against A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. And then you have Derrick Henry in the backfield.
Yeah.
I mean, that's dangerous. And Derrick Henry can run over everybody as it is. I mean, he throws people.
Yes.
I mean,
he tosses human beings.
So I think it's a good move for the Titans. Honestly, I mean, the Falcons got a couple of pieces back with the second round pick, but for what they're getting, I think, I thought it was a pretty good deal.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad deal at all.
I mean, they traded a second and a what? A fourth?
And a fourth, yep.
For Julio and a sixth?
For Julio and a sixth.
I mean, I think that's what's his face at the Falcons is going to get a big bump though.
Yeah,
the new tight end.
Yeah,
new tight end and Calvin Ridley, of course.
Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts out there. Matt Ryan's got a couple of good years left them, but again, Atlanta, they still have not recovered from that Super Bowl loss. I don't care what anybody says. They're just, I mean, that Super Bowl loss took the life out of them, man. I mean, it's been 3-4 years. It just took the life out of them.
Did you see the meme the other day?
No.
It's like, how did it? Yeah. It was Derrick Henry talking to Julio Jones, and the caption was, "How did it feel losing in the Super Bowl?" He was like, it sucked. Well, and then Derrick Henry's like, well, how would you like to lose in the divisional round instead?
Yeah, I mean,
going to the Titans because they can't get past they can't get past anybody in the playoffs. But I don't know, man. I think Tannehill doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I
don't think he's supposed to carry the team. And granted, I have one of my good friends is he's a Dolphins fan, and he's been through Tannehill. But Tannehill was not brought in there to carry the team like a Patrick Mahomes
Yeah.
or a Tom Brady or these Drew Brees and Drew Brees doesn't carry the team. They have a whole all-star when they had them, but he just needs to manage the game, and he can manage the game better than Marcus Mariota could.
Right. No, not even that. But here's the thing about Tannehill. He played under Adam Gase. That's all you need to know.
And that too. You cannot discount that.
He played with Adam freaking Gase.
Yes.
Enough said.
And now let's see what Darnold does.
Yeah,
let's see what Darnold does this year.
Darnold's going to have a hell of a year, I think. I think
he has a good coach.
Yeah, he's got a good coach. They're going to coach him well, and he's going to have a hell of a year, and we're going to look like a bunch of fools. But I think the Jets got to get.
I think Zach Wilson is going to hold his own. I think he's going to do fine.
We got a stud, and I tell you who else. Elijah Moore. Coming out of OTAs, Elijah Moore is lighting it up in OTAs too. And this kid, Michael Carter, the running back they got. I mean, in 2 or 3 years, the Jets are going to have a ridiculous offense.
Mm-hmm.
They just got to keep Becton healthy.
So. No, I truly think.
But it's good to see, and
I truly think so.
We are 45 days away from training camp.
Is that it, huh? Wow. Speaking of quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers does not want to go to mandatory.
He doesn't have to.
That he might get fined like $96,000, but what is that to him if he does? Let's see. What do you think? Does Aaron Rodgers play a game in a Green Bay Packers uniform this year?
Yes.
Put it on record, June 7th.
Yeah. He's playing. They're not going to trade him unless Denver comes up and offers them. 2 first-rounders this year, 2 first-rounders in this draft, 2 in the next draft, 2 in the other draft, and a couple of second-rounders. They're not giving them up. I mean, that's crazy, man. That is absolutely crazy. They're not going to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess let's see. But yeah, I think, right now as it stands, he should play because it's going on. If they were going to do it, they were going to do it. They did it. They should have done it already.
Yeah. And they would. Yeah, it's June.
I don't think he's going to be like a Le'Veon Bell and hold out the whole year, type of business. Like he probably would either retire or that's it. Like he's either going to retire or he's going to play. He's not going to sit there and hold out the whole year.
I don't think so either. But I think that if Green Bay was going to do something, you're right. They would have done it already.
Yeah. Well, let's touch on another ex-football player, Mr. Chad Ochocinco, last night makes his boxing debut. Got a little knockdown there. Well, he got knocked down a little bit, and he said, "Child, please," and came right back up and finished the whole match. And now he's ready to take on Conor McGregor. That's what he said. That was his. That's what he said after the match. What are your thoughts on that?
First of all,
he
can't take an overhand right because he got clipped on the chin and he just went down like that. Although after that he went the rest of the way. So that was interesting. But I mean, look, it's become like a trend now. These sports guys getting into boxing. After seeing these two dunces, what are the Logan Paul?
Yeah, the YouTubers. Yeah,
YouTubers. Look, as long as nobody gets hurt, I think it's okay. But it's going to come to the point where if somebody gets really hurt, people are going to be like, all right. And as far as Conor McGregor goes, listen, if you give Conor McGregor $100 million, he's going to get in the ring. Floyd got $100 million he basically kept Logan Paul up. I mean, he almost knocked him down. He kept him up for 8 rounds. He let him spar.
Yeah, he got him a nice knock right on the ear, and he was going down.
Yeah,
he was going down, and he's like, nope. And the memes that came out of it was just, unbelievable. Like, this is how the Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather match went, and they're just hugging for 30 minutes.
I mean, that's basically what he did. It was his jab right hand hold. He didn't want to get hit. He didn't want to get hit. So for him, it was just going the distance and then being able to say, I went the distance.
Business, and it was money. His name is Floyd Money Mayweather. And I love what he says at his press conference. He goes, it's like, I don't give a shit what you say about me. Oh, Floyd doesn't have it. Oh, Floyd isn't the same. Like, I don't give a shit. Write something good about me. Write something bad about me. Talk shit about me. But what house am I going to, and what house are you going to after we leave here? And I mean, he's cocky, but you know what?
Yeah, I mean, look, he made $100 million last night he
said his shorts are worth $30 million.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, but you know how
because of the patches
on
his shorts.
I don't know. All I know is the guy made
his actual shorts.
Yeah. But the guy made $100 million last night. Basically, it was a sparring session for him. And he's going to walk to the bank and he'll probably invest that money, make more money. Look, he's 44 years old. He's living the dream. He's living a great life. I think he's a little bored, though. For him to be doing this, he's a little bored.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but why is this like it? But I feel like it's turning into like WWE a little bit.
Yeah,
it's kind of like, and granted, I mean, that's not a bad thing to emulate because WWE is amazing sports entertainment and they make a killing.
Yeah. Listen, people are making money, man. If you can make money doing it, why not?
Follow the money.
Follow the money. And now Jake Paul's going to fight Tyron. What's it? Tyron Woodley? Is that what it is?
The MMA guy. Jake Paul, the other brother.
Other guy.
Yeah, I can't remember who he's.
Yeah, it's Tyron Woodley, the MMA guy. So we'll see how that plays out. But listen, man. I mean, look, these guys. Everybody wants to box now. It's when you get clipped and you get hit in the chin like Ocho Cinco, you go down and you're dizzy. You're like, whoa, what happened here? So we'll see who the next, future star to come out of that is. But it goes to show. I was reading an article today that Dana White has completely crushed boxing, and he's right because UFC is the real deal, and everybody's watching UFC. Nobody's watching boxing, and he's right.
Well, I mean, this is what they have to do.
Yeah,
to get people to watch
boxing.
Watch
boxing, exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, it's they have to get the sideshows going.
Yeah.
In other news, the Islanders did.
What?
Yeah, they did win 5-4, and the Islanders are leading the series 3-2. So one more game, and let's see how that one goes. There was something else that we had to touch on. It's escaping me right now. If you have anything that you want to add, go for it.
I mean, I'm good. I'm all right. I mean, I think we touched on everything. So
definitely all the big news, and we will be back. So I mean, today's Monday. And we're changing it up to Monday, Wednesday. It was great on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Change it up for the summer at least and see how it goes. But thank you all for joining us. And we will be back with episode 88 on Wednesday night. We got a 14-year-old Keegan Brown, road racer Keegan Brown, coming and joining us on the show. We're looking forward to that. Kind of fitting, 88 for a racer, right?
Yeah, not bad. Good number.
Well, isn't that Earnhardt? That's 88?
Oh, that's 88. Yeah, Earnhardt.
Yeah.
All right.
That's kind of ironic there.
All right.
Nice coincidence. All right, everybody. Mets are off today. Yankees playing today? Yeah. So Mets and Yankees have off days. But then again, the Yankees have been off for a few days now. No?
Yankees have been off, period.
All right, everybody, have a great night. We'll see you on Wednesday.
All right, peace.